show, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Trey B. Rambo show. I'm your host, Trey B. Rambo. Alright, guys. So this morning, I just got back from my run. Yeah, it was a pretty good run, but it was a hard run because I had a hard time getting up this morning. I was not looking forward to that. I snoozed about 4 times, and I didn't even get up until about 3:50 in the morning. Which I guess in human standards is pretty good, considering most people are still asleep. It's 5:15 in the morning, and so it's not too bad. But my goal was to get up at 3, and I went out on my run. It was cold, but I did it. I made my little short video that I like to make. Nothing too expiring, but basically just holding myself accountable to making my little video and putting it on Instagram. Sometimes I like to put it on YouTube. And got my running. So here I am. Now today's going to be a tough day because it's Monday. And I decided to give up coffee. Turns out coffee is really bad for you. So I'm going to have to stop drinking coffee because I got that addictive personality where I'll have 2-3 cups in the morning when I get up. And, I like to put that creamer stuff in there. I try to drink it black like Duck Dynasty, but I'm afraid I'm just not manly enough. And I'll put that creamer. Sometimes I'll use that Bliss stuff. Sometimes I use oat milk. It's kind of girly, but whatever. And then when I get to work, I have about another 3-4 cups of coffee. And I got to be honest with you guys, it doesn't really do anything for me. Usually I just get tired. It's the weirdest thing. Coffee will make me tired. It does the opposite of what I'm hoping it'll do, which is give me some energy, but it doesn't do that. So I think it's time. Oh, especially at church. I go to church and I like to go early to 8 o'clock by myself while my wife is still asleep at home. And then I'll have me about 2-3 cups over there. And they get free coffee. And they give you creamers. They got the pumpkin spice and the vanilla, French vanilla stuff. And I'll just throw back about 2-3 cups of coffee. And then I get all into the worship. And I love the 8 o'clock because it's all old people. And they sing the old hymns. And, I got a bit of a voice, Believe it or not, my voice is actually like I got the voice of an angel. And, I'll put it down in there with the old folkies. And then, I'll meet up with my wife for the 9:30 service. And then we get into the worship in there. It's more of the modern stuff. The I could sing of your love forever. I love that song. We haven't sang that one in a while, but there's a lot of good songs that I like to sing, and I'm a singer. I'm definitely a shower singer. I don't know about you guys, but I love singing. And now I'm really into singing the worship songs, and that's part of what got me going to church, because it wasn't the service, like it wasn't the sermons. I rarely feel any kind of way about the sermons themselves. Although yesterday was pretty good. We had a guy, Pastor Robert, put a pretty good message about sin. And, I'm the kind of guy where, I like my sermons, to really convict me for my sin and to let me know that I'm not living righteous, and I'm not living a righteous life. And I need to, although I got the love of Jesus and I'm under his grace, that there are some, you need to, if you have that real love of Jesus in you and you really have repented, there's going to be some change in you. I need a pastor who's going to be like, you might have the love of Jesus, but you need to stop your fornicating, or you need to stop your porn watching, or you need to stop all that lustful thinking. Because, we're sinners, and we need to be told we're sinners. We need to be reminded that we sin, and now we fall short of the glory of God. Otherwise, we might forget ourselves. It's funny. The pastor said something about, I don't want to come over here with, fire and brimstone and all that kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, why not? I mean, Jesus talked about hell quite a bit in the Gospels. And people need to be scared of that, because that's where we're going to end up if we don't get ourselves right. And, some people have different opinions about that. And I get it. God is love, and He is love. And He did command us to love Him with all our hearts, minds, and strength and soul, depending on the verse, the interpretation you get. I read out of the NIV, so it says, love God with all your heart, mind, and strength. And then His second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself, to love one another, right? And I mean, that's the hardest thing right there to do, but that's the gospel. I mean, that's the whole whiz of it right there, is to love one another. Love God, love one another. It's pretty simple, but we gotta, also I feel like we also gotta show our obedience, But that being said, so I woke up today late. It was a rough weekend, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is the weekend we have the kids, and me and my wife, we get stressed out. And some days I do better than my wife, and some days she does better than me. Right now she's probably doing better than me. Usually she does better than me most of the time, and but that's okay, because she's got a strength about her that is, she's got a strength about her that when I'm down and weak, she'll lift me and build me right up. My wife has done some amazing jobs with a guy like me. When I first met her, oh man, I wouldn't wish me on anybody. But she chose me, and she, along with the help of Jesus and the Holy Spirit, has molded me into the man I am today, which is still a broken man, but a better man than I've been in the past, And so that being said, I had a lot of thoughts for this morning's little short clip. We talk about God, family, country, jujitsu, or whatever your sport is. When I was in high school, I used to always tell myself, this is obviously before having a family and all that in high school. But I remember always walking around, it's God first, then family, then football. That was my mantra. God, family, school, football. And that's a good mantra to have. And, I was thinking last night, I was like, I feel like you could stuff something in there. And, when you think about your family and, what your family needs and stuff, we definitely got to put our families first, no doubt about it. And I was thinking, in order to do that, you kind of got to put yourself first, Like, and I mean in the sense, like, you got to exercise. You got to, like, work on your crafts, work on your businesses, work on your job, whatever it is. When it comes to providing and bringing in money or making yourself a better person, especially when it comes to exercising and all that kind of stuff, you got to put yourself first. Because, you're no good to your family if you're broken down, if you're beat down, out of shape, watching TV all day, or go to work and then just come home, watch TV and unwind and drink a beer. That's just not gonna cut it. And I wish it did sometimes, but I don't. I used to think I wanted that to be the way it was. Just go to work, you come home, and everybody just gives you a big hug and puts a plate of food down in front of you and just says, "What a great job, Dad. Good job, husband." and then you just get to watch football and drink a beer, just to kind of like, just enjoy your day, enjoy yourself after a hard day of work. But no, that's just not gonna cut it. And so, putting ourselves first, I think, is important in a way, because I want my family to have the best of me. And I admit, many days, there's a lot of days that they don't get the best of me. And I'm a work in progress, like you guys are a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. But we really gotta put ourselves first. It's kind of like when you're on an airplane, and if the plane's going down and the oxygen's exiting the cabin, like it's getting sucked out of the cabin, they got little signs on there that say that you got to put your mask on first before you help out your child put their mask on. Because what good are you to your child if you pass out and your kid's in danger because you decided to put all your focus and emphasis on them first, and then you neglected yourself and turned out that you were no good to anybody at that moment because you didn't prioritize. Well, so my idea is basically just that. We put our families first, kind of, by putting ourselves first. So that way they can get the best of you. Talking about being the best version of ourselves, there's a lot of stuff that I've been working on lately, and I've been asking God to really help me out because, my wife and kids, they deserve a lot better than what they've been getting. And it's not to say that I haven't been trying. Of course, I've been trying. Just, as a human being, you get so focused, or you get, maybe you lose your temper, or this can happen to anybody. You could lose your temper, or you can be neglectful and focus too much on work or your extracurricular activities, or maybe you're just not paying attention. You're not being present, realizing that your wife needs help with doing some dishes, or maybe you don't notice a sink is leaking and you don't fix it. Whatever that is. I've been asking God to really help me with those things because, I want to be the best I can for my family and make sure that I'm providing the things that they need. And because that's also a part of the worship that I have for God. God calls on me. That was my phone. And I don't have my phone with me. That's probably my wife telling me to shut the hell up. Um, oh, man. And I can't even answer it because it's way over there. Hey, Paulina, give me my phone. So, being your best self for your family is critical. And huh? Your mama? Oh, she needs her soccer bag. No, you can't be in it. Get in. They make me, I can't have her in it because YouTube, they'll be like, oh, there's a kid in your video. You can't have that. So I'm going to do it anyway and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't ruin it. Anyway, so let me send her a little text message saying, okay. Anyway, so back to what I was saying, being the best possible version of yourself. Yeah. So that's not always easy. So what I've been praying to God and really thinking about how am I gonna be the best version of myself? Well, there's a lot of areas in my life I gotta step up. And I know I'm not the only person who deals with this stuff. For example, I have a lot of debt. Probably not as much as most people, but I do have some debt. Student loans. I got this. I owe the courts like 600. Not a. I would. Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I owe the courts. I owe the courts for back in 21 or something. I don't know when it was, but I got in trouble with the law, and I owe about $600 maybe, which ain't that much money, but I could pay that off, and I just been kind of neglecting that. I'm not gonna go to jail or anything for if I don't pay it. I'm not sure what the consequences are gonna be if I don't pay it, but it hasn't cost me any consequences yet. But I owe the money, so I gotta pay it, right? And I got some outstanding credit cards that I had right before the pandemic. I was doing good. I won't say I was doing good, but I was, I was, my credit was good, and I had some credit cards, and I was paying the bills every month, and I had like a decent job, and then the pandemic hit, and I had to stay home and take care of my daughter, who was only like 2. Oh no, she was more like 5. She must have been like 5 or 6. She was in kindergarten, so she must have been like 5 or 6. And I just said, screw it, I'm not gonna pay these credit cards, and I just didn't. And they're still there, obviously, because it's only 2024. And the pandemic happened in 2019, so I don't know. I could wait another 2 years and maybe they'll fall off my credit report. But am I gonna wait 2 years to get my life in order? No. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to hold myself accountable to this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to call one of those credit people who are going to, help you resolve your credit issues. Those guys are crooks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get out a Word document, and I'm going to list every single debt that I have, which isn't really that many. It's about 2-3 credit cards. I can go on Credit Karma and look. You can go on Credit Karma and look. They got an app for that. And you just jot down how much money you owe. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pay off or attack one card or one thing at a time and just chip away at it. $30 here, $20 there, just pay it. I could probably do that with the thing I owe to the court. I think I can do it with them. And but with everything else, I'm probably gonna have to pay a certain amount. So like I'll call one credit card. If I owe $2,000, I'll call the credit card. Probably not the credit card company. I'll probably call the creditor. Work out a deal, negotiate a deal. Try to get something around $40-$50 a month, and just start paying it. Pay it and pay it and pay it. Just get it paid off. Once that first one's paid off, pay off the second one. Because at the end of the day, this is about building discipline, for one, in your life. That's what this whole game's about for me. I mean, that's what this is, right? It's a game that we got to play. We don't have a choice. The game of life, we didn't get a choice to come into this world, but we have a choice about how we play it. And that's the part you control. And debt really, really, really is really something that hangs over your head. And it's just a ugly feeling knowing that you owe somebody money. And to tell you the truth, it ain't biblical. I'm sure I could find some verses somewhere where God tells you to not be in debt. It seems like something God would tell you, that if you're in debt, pay off your debts. And so it's just this is another way that I can worship and praise God and be obedient to Him and to give Him all the glory and to do this because it'll benefit my family. My family does no good with me being in debt or owing money. And so that's something that I think is really important. I'm going to pay off debt, and I'm going to share it along the way with my podcast, letting people know how that is progressing and become an expert in debt, resolving debt issues. I think that when I'm able to accomplish that, which I will, because you got to first start with the right mindset, that I will be able to help other people do my podcast, getting the word out about how to resolve debt issues, because debt sucks, guys. Let's just be honest. Debt sucks. So that's one goal that I have, and I think it's important to have goals, because if you don't have goals, you got nothing to aim for. You're aiming wanderously in life, and you don't want to wander aimlessly in life. That's an ugly feeling. I know what that feels like, and that's not good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start another business. So I have it's not a great idea. It's not an original idea either. It's nothing that's original or unique. But I've always wanted to have like a shirt business. And I think it's a good idea to show my daughter and my stepsons how to start a business and maintain its website, and how to fulfill orders, how to market, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I'm not going to be able to show them overnight, but it'll be, they're only 5, 8, and 9. So hopefully by the time they're teenagers, I will have taught them enough where they're just like kick butt business people. And I said kick butt because I'm trying to stop cursing. I have a potty mouth, and one of my buddies pointed it out to me, and he was right. And I feel convicted about that. So I'm working on my potty mouth. Now, my kids, when it comes to your children, especially if you have them in public schools, they are just not going to get what they need. Public school has proven to me. My daughter, she goes to West Whittier Elementary. It's the worst school. It's beyond broken down. I mean, I feel like my kids are not learning. I don't know why I just said where my kids go, but that the school system is just broken, and you have to educate your kids. You're gonna have to teach your kids how to run a business, or teach them how to provide for themselves, or give them the education that they need, because schools are not going to do it. So I want to start a t-shirt business, like shirts like this, where it'll have something Jesus-y in the front, and then it'll have my nonprofit in the back, Mentoring Beyond the Game, and sell some t-shirts. And then with the t-shirts, with the revenue from the t-shirts, I can use that income, that nonprofit income, to go out and do some type of ministry, to do something that has to do with kids or adults for mentoring. What I'm trying to do is get jiu-jitsu gyms in churches. So that's been my main goal, is to get jiu-jitsu gyms inside of churches. A lot of churches have extra rooms. I've been talking to quite a few different pastors about this, and a lot of them are, I don't want to. They're hesitant probably because of liability issues, or they don't understand, they don't see the benefit. They're weighing the benefit versus the cost of it all, or the potential cost of it all, and they're just hesitant to it's not easy to really put yourself out there, or your church out there, open themselves up to liability, because they're so worried about, oh my gosh, what if we get sued and we end up paying all this money, as opposed to like, man, think of all the people we could bring to Christ through jiu-jitsu. I mean, I always tell people God's a wrestler. I always tell people about the story of God or an angel, whatever it is, who wrestles with Jacob. People have their different interpretations, but I think it was God. I think the interpretation in the Bible is that in the Genesis, that God was wrestling with Jacob all night long, and it's difficult for people to, one, get on board with something they don't understand, but two, to be willing to take risks. And being a risk taker, I learned this from my wife. Being a risk taker, those are the people who go on to do great things, who build amazing things. It's one thing to have a little kiddie soccer ministry in your church or basketball or something. It's very safe, But to have a wrestling gym or jiu-jitsu where you're at, something like that, that takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of it takes risk, and but the rewards, I know the moment I get that first church, and I get that first church to start a jiu-jitsu ministry, and I mean first church for me. I'm sure there's got to be some churches out there that already have one, right? But once I get my first church, oh boy, we're going to bring some people to Jesus. And so the t-shirts, I want to be able to, there's something powerful about t-shirts. You're like a walking billboard, and if you have cool slogans or something, and for my case, Jesus-y, like a cross or something, cool mentoring beyond the game with a cross in the back. That's my goal, to get that. I'm going to do it this week. I told my wife, you have 1 week to come up with the design. If you don't do it, I'm just going to do my own design. And it ain't going to be as good because my wife is very talented. She does very good designs with AI art and all that kind of stuff. But I'm motivated. And I want to get this thing off the ground. And then I'm going to start a website. And I'm just going to get it done. Because we got to be go-getters. I'm a go-getter now. I'm no longer just sitting around not wanting to get things done. And so that's what's up with that. That's what's up. And lastly, there's a lot of things that need to happen in life for me where I need to see personal growth. I need to know that God is doing a work in me, that he's making a new Andres, a new Dre, where it's going to be for his benefit. We have so many gifts that God has bestowed upon us, and they're gifts. But you got to open them up. You got to unwrap that gift that God gave you. And you got to do everything you can to develop that gift so that you can share it with the world. Because the world is not as good as a place as it could be without you, and without your gifts and what you have to bring to this world. And don't worry about it being too late. I'm 45 years old. I wasted 45 years of my life being a waster, not unwrapping my gifts that God gave me so that I could share them with everybody else. I mean, what is a gift? Gift is something we give. Something we give to others and share. Our kids get Christmas presents and we always tell them, share. Open your gift and share it. Share it with your brother and sister, or share it with your friends or whatever. These gifts that we've been given, whatever it is, you can do a lot of good in the world. You can contribute and be that person, be that guy. Gives something to the world that everybody else can benefit from. And that's what I'm trying to be, guys. I'm trying to be that guy and be an example to somebody who can give back to the world. And believe me, I'm not perfect. And my wife will be the first to tell you. She's quick to point out all my flaws. And she'd be right. Because I got many of them. And she's that one. She's that person in my life who always lets me know where I fall short. And I need her for that. And I'm grateful to her for that. And that being said, guys, we're coming on 30 minutes. So I need to help my wife get these kids ready for school and all that. So I hope that everybody has a nice day. God bless you all. And remember, always stay holy. power of the Holy Spirit right there, brothers. Yeah. Love it. Don't love it. Don't matter to me. Just make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And catch you guys on the next one.